Breast cancer doesn't begin with a lump. It doesn't announce itself with pain. It begins in silence, hidden deep inside the body in ways most women never see coming. And, is the shocking truth, for women over 60, one hidden food that many eat without thinking every single day could be silently feeding this disease. You think it's harmless, you think it's part of your normal routine, but science is now revealing that it may be one of the strongest triggers for breast cancer. Imagine this. You sit at the breakfast table or dinner table enjoying a meal that feels normal, safe, even comforting. But in reality, with every bite, the cells in your body are being pushed toward damage, your hormones are being thrown out of balance, and your future is being rewritten. While some women spend thousands on screenings and treatments, the most powerful weapon against breast cancer could be as simple as removing one hidden food from your plate. This is not about fear. This is about truth because knowledge is prevention and prevention is power. If you are over 60, you deserve to know the silent danger hiding in your diet, the food that doesn't just age you faster, but may also be the spark that ignites cancer itself. Stay with me because once you know what this food is, you will never look at your plate the same way again. When we think about comfort foods, many of us remember the smell of breakfast bacon sizzling in the pan, the convenience of hot dogs at family gatherings, or the easy choice of deli meats on a sandwich. For decades, these foods have been part of daily life. But here's what science is now revealing. For women over 60, these processed meats may not just be food, they may be slow, silent triggers for disease, including breast cancer. The danger lies not just in the meat itself, but in what's added to it. Processed meats like bacon, sausages, hot dogs, ham, and many packaged deli slices are treated with chemicals called nitrites and nitrates. These are used to preserve color, keep bacteria away, and make the food look fresher than it really is. But inside the body, these chemicals can transform into carcinogens, compounds that directly damage DNA, the blueprint of your cells. Damaged DNA is like a broken recipe. It can cause cells to grow out of control, and that's exactly how cancer begins. For women past the age of 60, the risks are amplified. After menopause, estrogen levels shift, and the body becomes more sensitive to hormonal imbalances. Processed meats don't just deliver harmful chemicals, they also contain high amounts of saturated fat, which alters hormone levels, and salt, which stresses the body's metabolism. The result? A perfect storm that raises the risk of breast cancer development. Many women believe that a slice of ham here or a hot dog there is harmless, but what studies show is that even small, regular intakes of processed meat can add up over time, and the damage accumulates silently. Imagine this, every bite of bacon or sausage is like planting a tiny seed of inflammation inside your body. One seed alone may not grow, but day after day, month after month, those seeds can sprout into something dangerous. Inflammation is the fuel that cancer cells thrive on, and processed meats are some of the strongest matches you can throw into that fire. Scientists have followed thousands of women across years and consistently found that those who regularly consume processed meats had higher breast cancer rates compared to those who avoided them. It's not coincidence, it's chemistry. But here's the empowering truth. This is not destiny, it's a choice. Processed meats are not a requirement for life or health. They are convenience foods designed to last longer on shelves, not longer in your body. The good news is that when women reduce or eliminate these foods, the body begins to heal. Inflammation drops, hormone balance improves, and risk decreases. That means your future is not locked in by your past choices. It can be changed by what you choose today, even at 60, 70, or beyond. Now, think about alternatives. Instead of sausages, try lean poultry seasoned with herbs. Instead of deli ham, roasted turkey breast prepared fresh at home provides protein without the chemical baggage. Instead of bacon, slices of avocado on toast deliver healthy fats that protect, not destroy. And instead of hot dogs, a bowl of hearty lentil soup or chickpea salad can nourish your body with protein, fiber, and protective antioxidants. These are not sacrifices, these are upgrades, choices that not only give flavor, but give life. When you are over 60, food is no longer just about filling your stomach. It's about fueling your cells, protecting your DNA, and safeguarding your hormones. Every bite is either a step toward health or a step toward disease. Processed meats may look harmless on the plate, but they are far from harmless inside your body. The truth is simple: remove them, and you remove a powerful trigger. Replace them, and you give your body the nutrients it has been craving all along. This is the power of choice. This is how women can reclaim control, protect their hormones, and live with strength even in their later years. Sugar has become the silent companion of almost every meal. It hides in our tea and coffee, in the cakes we celebrate with, in the pastries we treat ourselves to, and even in the so called healthy cereals we pour into a bowl. For women over 60, the danger of sugar goes far beyond weight gain or cavities. It goes to the very core of health because sugar feeds what you fear most: cancer. Breast cancer cells, like all cancer cells, are hungry. They thrive on glucose, and when you fill your body with refined sugars and sweets, you are not just satisfying your taste buds, you may be feeding those cells exactly what they need to grow. Imagine the journey of sugar in your body. You take a bite of cake, a piece of candy, or a spoonful of ice cream. The sugar enters your bloodstream quickly, spiking your blood glucose. Your body responds with a surge of insulin, the hormone that helps cells take in sugar. But here's the problem: insulin doesn't just open the door for healthy cells, it also fuels a growth factor known as IGF-1. This growth factor can stimulate abnormal cell growth, including cancer cells. Over time, repeated spikes of sugar and insulin create an environment where cancer not only survives, but flourishes. For women past menopause, the problem becomes even more dangerous. Estrogen balance is already delicate at this age, and high sugar intake further disrupts it by increasing inflammation and storing excess fat, which itself produces estrogen. Too much estrogen in the wrong balance is like pouring gasoline on a smoldering fire. It can accelerate the very processes that lead to breast cancer. Studies have shown that women with diets high in refined sugars and processed carbs had significantly higher risk of developing hormone cancers. Think about how common these foods are: donuts at a morning gathering, cookies with afternoon tea, or packaged sweets kept at home for a quick bite. Each small indulgence may not feel like much, but combined they create a daily assault on your cells. And the saddest part is that sugar doesn't just affect cancer risk, it robs your vitality too. It drains energy, weakens immunity, and accelerates aging of the skin, making you look and feel older than you are. But there is hope, and it lies not in deprivation, but in replacement. Instead of reaching for a sugary dessert, try fresh berries. Unlike refined sugar, berries come packed with antioxidants that fight inflammation and polyphenols that actively reduce cancer cell growth. If you crave something sweet, with tea, a slice of apple or kiwi can satisfy your taste buds while stabilizing blood sugar. Replacing cakes and pastries with oatmeal topped with fruit provides natural sweetness along with fiber, which slows down sugar absorption and protects your body. Even dark chocolate in small amounts can provide a sweet taste with powerful antioxidants that defend against cell damage. You are not being asked to remove sweetness from your life. You are being asked to choose the kind of sweetness that gives life rather than takes it away. Every bite of refined sugar is like turning up the speed dial on aging and disease, but every bite of natural fiber-rich fruit is like pressing pause, even rewind, on those same processes. For women over 60, this choice is not just about today's snack, it is about tomorrow's health. The truth is that sugar may feel comforting, but it is a false friend. It disguises itself as pleasure while secretly robbing you of strength, balance, and resilience. You deserve better than that. You deserve to feed your body foods that love you back, not foods that betray you. By breaking free from refined sweets, you don't just protect yourself from breast cancer, you reclaim your energy, your skin, your mood, and your future. And that is a gift far sweeter than anything sugar could ever give. For many women, a glass of wine in the evening feels harmless, even healthy. It is celebrated in culture and gatherings, in the idea that a little alcohol relaxes the mind and soothes the body. But here is the uncomfortable truth. For women over 60, even small amounts of alcohol are not as harmless as they seem. In fact, science now shows that alcohol in any dose can quietly increase the risk of breast cancer. It does this not through one single pathway, but through a chain of biological disruptions that unfold long after the glass is empty. When you drink alcohol, your body immediately begins working to break it down. The liver converts it into a compound called acetaldehyde, which is toxic and directly damages DNA. Think of DNA as the instruction manual for your cells. When it is damaged, cells can begin to make mistakes, growing abnormally and dividing uncontrollably. The very beginning of cancer. Over time, repeated exposure to alcohol means repeated exposure to this toxin, and your body becomes less capable of repairing the damage, especially as you age. But the story does not stop there. Alcohol also affects hormones, particularly estrogen. For women past menopause, estrogen balance is already delicate. Alcohol raises circulating estrogen levels, tipping the scales in dangerous ways. Elevated estrogen feeds breast tissue in unnatural patterns, and this hormonal disruption is strongly linked to the development of breast cancer. What makes this even more concerning is that the effect does not require heavy drinking. Studies show that even one glass of wine per day can increase breast cancer risk, especially in older women. It is not about excess, it is about exposure. Alcohol also weakens the liver's ability to detoxify the body. For women over 60, the liver is not as efficient as it once was, and adding alcohol to the workload can create more strain. A burdened liver allows harmful metabolites and hormones to circulate longer, which further increases the chances of abnormal cell growth. Add to this the dehydrating effects of alcohol, which leave your body more inflamed and less resilient, and you have the perfect recipe for accelerated aging inside and out. Yet many women continue the habit because of social acceptance or the belief that it is harmless in moderation. But moderation is not protection when it comes to cancer. Every sip introduces acetaldehyde, every glass pushes estrogen higher, every drink chips away at your resilience. And the tragedy is that what feels like relaxation in the moment may be setting the stage for suffering in the future. The empowering truth is that you are not bound to this fate. There are alternatives that give you the same sense of comfort without the damage. Herbal teas like chamomile or hibiscus calm the nervous system. Sparkling water infused with lemon, cucumber, or berries can feel just as celebratory as wine without the hidden cost. Even non-alcoholic wines and mocktails are now available that provide the taste without the toxins. Choosing these options is not about restriction, it is about liberation, freeing yourself from a habit that quietly steals your health. At over 60, your body deserves care, not chemicals. Your DNA deserves protection, not damage. Your hormones deserve balance, not chaos. And your future deserves strength, not sabotage. Alcohol has been dressed up as a friend, a companion to laughter and comfort, but in truth, it is a thief, stealing health, stealing balance, and stealing years. The power lies in your choice. Remove it, and you give your body the gift of healing, clarity, and renewal. And that is far more intoxicating than any glass of wine could ever be. Fried foods are everywhere: golden fries, crispy snacks, packaged chips, fried chicken, and countless ready made items that promise taste and convenience. For many women, these foods feel like little indulgences, comfort for the moment. But what the body experiences is very different from what the tongue enjoys. Especially for women over 60, fried foods and ultra processed oils are not just unhealthy, they are silent accelerators of disease and aging. They do their damage deep within the cells, creating conditions that allow breast cancer to grow stronger and faster. Here's why. When foods are fried, especially in oils that are reheated over and over again, they produce compounds called free radicals. Free radicals are unstable molecules that attack healthy cells, damaging their membranes and their DNA. Think of them like tiny sparks that set fire to the structures inside your body. Over time, this constant attack weakens cells, shortens their lifespan, and increases the chances of mutations. And it is those mutations that can tip normal cells into becoming cancer cells. Ultra processed oils like hydrogenated vegetable oils, margarine, and oils used in fast foods are high in trans fats and inflammatory omega 6 fats. These fats don't just raise cholesterol and harm the heart, they create chronic inflammation throughout the body. And inflammation is the soil in which cancer grows. The more inflammation, the more opportunities for abnormal cells to thrive. For women after menopause, when natural defenses are already weaker and hormones less balanced, this becomes an even greater risk. Imagine eating a plate of fried food. In that moment, it feels satisfying, but inside, the body is struggling. The fried oils thicken the blood, slow circulation, and reduce oxygen delivery to tissues. Less oxygen means less healing, less repair, and more stress on every cell. The oils cling to the walls of arteries, raising the risk of heart disease, while at the same time sending inflammatory signals to breast tissue. It is not a one time effect. Every fried meal adds another layer of stress, another push toward disease. But the damage is not only hidden in the body, it also shows up on the outside. Women often wonder why their skin looks more tired, why energy seems to vanish more quickly, why joints ache more often. The truth is that fried oils accelerate aging in every organ. They break down collagen in the skin, leaving wrinkles and sagging. They reduce bone density by interfering with nutrient absorption. They even damage the gut microbiome, weakening immunity. What looks like harmless comfort food is in reality a slow, steady attack on vitality. The good news is that the moment you stop, your body begins to repair. Within days of avoiding fried oils, inflammation markers in the blood begin to drop. Within weeks, circulation improves and energy rises. Within months, the risks of disease start to decline. Choosing whole foods, grilled or baked instead of fried, cooked in healthy oils like olive oil or avocado oil, changes everything. Instead of fueling fire, you are fueling life. Instead of feeding cancer, you are feeding resilience. For women over 60, every meal is a chance to write the future of your health. Fried foods and processed oils promise quick pleasure, but they demand a heavy price. Removing them is not about losing taste, it is about reclaiming years of energy, strength, and freedom. Imagine sitting with your family enjoying fresh meals that heal rather than harm. Imagine waking up with more energy, lighter joints, and brighter skin, simply because you chose food that love you back. That is not just prevention, that is transformation. And it begins with one choice: to say no to fried foods and yes to your future. For many women, especially after 60, there's a routine that feels almost harmless: a sweet latte in the morning, a milkshake as an occasional treat, or a pastry with a cup of coffee in the afternoon. These habits feel small, almost innocent, but together they form one of the most dangerous combinations for your health. Refined carbs and dairy alone each has its challenges, but when they come together, they create a chemical storm inside the body that accelerates aging and raises the risk of breast cancer. Refined carbs are foods like white bread, pastries, cakes, and processed cereals. They break down almost instantly into sugar, flooding your bloodstream and spiking insulin levels. Dairy, especially sweetened or processed milk products, adds not just more sugar, but also proteins and hormones that amplify these spikes. When combined, they create what scientists call advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These are harmful compounds that stiffen tissues, damage collagen, and disrupt the delicate signaling inside cells. Think of AGEs as tiny rust particles slowly corroding your body from the inside out. For women over 60, when natural repair processes slow down, these effects become even more severe. But it's not just about wrinkles or aging skin. The refined carbs and dairy combo has a direct impact on breast tissue. Excess sugar feeds abnormal cells, while dairy proteins and fats can influence estrogen levels. Too much estrogen, especially when unbalanced, fuels breast cancer development. Add to that the constant presence of AGEs from this food pairing, and what you have is an environment that pushes healthy cells closer to mutation. Day after day, year after year, these small habits can quietly increase cancer risk. Imagine a morning where you grab a sweetened coffee with whipped cream on top. It feels like a treat, a small joy. But inside, your blood sugar soars, insulin rushes, estrogen shifts, and cells are bathed in compounds that weaken them instead of strengthening them. The same with an afternoon pastry and a glass of milk. Simple routines that feel comforting but have hidden consequences. Over time, what feels like a small indulgence becomes a daily dose of poison, delivered not through one dramatic act, but through repetition. Yet the story doesn't end in despair, because just as easily as harmful habits accumulate, healing habits can take their place. Instead of sweetened lattes, try green tea or black coffee with a touch of cinnamon. Instead of pastries, choose oats topped with berries or nuts, foods that not only satisfy but also protect. Instead of milkshakes, smoothies made with almond milk, spinach, and fruit can deliver flavor without the harmful load. These swaps are not about deprivation, they are about transformation, about choosing foods that rebuild your cells rather than destroy them. What makes this so powerful is that your body wants to heal. The moment you stop fueling it with refined carbs and dairy together, AGEs begin to decline, inflammation starts to ease, blood sugar stabilizes, hormones move back into balance, and with time, your risk of breast cancer lowers, not just because of what you've avoided, but because of the protective foods you've embraced. For women over 60, every small choice multiplies. A cup of tea instead of a sweet latte, a handful of nuts instead of a pastry, a smoothie instead of a milkshake. These decisions are like votes for your future. The refined carbs and dairy combination may taste sweet in the moment, but it leaves a bitter legacy for your body. By breaking this habit, you give yourself the gift of energy, clarity, and protection. Right? You write a new story where food is no longer an enemy, but a partner in longevity. And that is the kind of sweetness that truly lasts. When you step back and look at all of this, the picture becomes painfully clear. Breast cancer does not appear overnight. It is not just a random twist of fate that strikes without reason. It builds slowly, quietly, often hidden in the foods we eat, in the habits we normalize, in the choices we repeat day after day. For women over 60, those choices become even more important because the body is more vulnerable, the defenses are not as strong, and the margin for error is smaller. But this is not a story of fear, it is a story of power, because the very same choices that can trigger disease are also the choices that can protect you from it. Processed meats, sugary sweets, alcohol, fried oils, and the refined carbs mixed with dairy. Each one of these may seem small on their own, but together they form a dangerous web. They disrupt hormones, they damage DNA, they inflame tissues, and they fuel the very conditions in which cancer thrives. Yet the truth you must hold on to is this: you are never powerless. Even after 60, even after years of old habits, your body is still capable of healing, still capable of turning the tide in your favor. The moment you stop feeding disease, you start feeding life. Every meal is a chance. Think of that the next time you look at your plate. Ask yourself, is this food my medicine or my poison? Is this bite fueling my strength or stealing my future? At this stage of life, food is not just about flavor or tradition, it is about time, adding years to your life and life to your years. The choices you make today decide not just how long you live, but how well you live. It, and here is the most hopeful truth of all: the body forgives. Within days of removing harmful foods, inflammation begins to drop. Within weeks, energy starts to return. Within months, hormone balance improves and risks decline. This is not theory. This is science, proven again and again, which means your future is not locked by your past. No matter how many years you've lived with these habits, you can still choose differently today, and your body will respond with gratitude. Imagine a future where you wake up lighter, clearer, and stronger, where your days are not ruled by fatigue or fear, but by freedom and vitality. Imagine walking with your grandchildren, enjoying your independence, traveling, creating memories, not weighed down by illness, but lifted up by health. That future is not out of reach. It is built one choice at a time, one meal at a time, one decision at a time. Breast cancer has taken too much from too many, but knowledge is the weapon it cannot withstand. When you know the hidden triggers, you can defeat them. When you know the foods that destroy, you can remove them. And when you know the foods that heal, you can embrace them. The power to change the story of your health is in your hands. And it begins not in a hospital, not in a clinic, but in your kitchen, at your table, on your plate. So, as you leave today with this truth, remember this: you are not at the mercy of age, you are not at the mercy of chance, and you are not at the mercy of hidden foods. You are the author of your health story. With every meal, you write the next chapter. Choose wisely, and that chapter will not be one of fear, but one of strength, freedom, and life. This is not the end. It is the beginning of a new way of living, a new way of eating, and a new way of protecting yourself. It all starts with what you do tonight, tomorrow, and every day forward.